Today on Resource Review, we're taking the hard work out of evaluating ICT Kit by looking at 3 items for use at primary level. They are a resource for projecting a live image, a handheld voting system, and devices for capturing audio. Recommending today's resources, we have Dave Smith, an ICT education consultant and leader for school improvement through ICT at Endgame Primary School in the London Borough of Havering. Now on the panel today we have Fiona MacCorquodale, who is ICT coordinator and assistant head at St Luke's Primary School in Islington, and Ray Barker, director of the British Educational Suppliers Association. And Matthew Tosh, our roving resource investigator, is out and about and he's visited a school to see how they fared with our resources. Now, Dave, your first resource for us today is this. It's the AVerVision Portable Visual Presenter. Tell us, what is it and why do you like it?
Well, the visualizer is a marvellous bit of equipment, actually, because you're able to present any item, artefact, object to your class so they can see close up anything that you have. Here, for example, we have some leaves. I can see the cells within the leaves themselves. Now, you could do the same thing with mini beasts. They could be, monster size on the screen. And it's absolutely fantastic for things like frog spawn as well. But if you go on from there and actually take things like text as well, you can place text underneath here. And I've just put some text underneath here.
Right,
and you can see the text on there. So the children actually can come up to the visualizer and share their work. It's a brilliant piece of equipment and it works really well and it's simple to use.
Now, does this one, you think, stand out from what else is available on the market?
I think it compares very favourably with the other visualisers on the market. This one has good functionality in terms of the software that comes with it as well. But it's a very, very good visualiser in terms of the camera quality, which I think with a visualiser is the key element.
OK, thank you very much. Well, we've sent Matthew Tosh, our roving resource investigator, off to Essex Primary School in Newham, East London, to see how Faye Spooner and her Year 3 class get their teeth into the visualiser.
What is that? Tell me about the surface, about the top of my tooth. Talk to your partner if you had to describe...
Faye, we found a quiet corner. Can you tell me how you've been using the visualiser?
I use the visualiser to show children my wisdom teeth that had been removed last week as a visual prop. Looking at them out of context and not just in the mouth, it gave a very visual focus to the teaching.
How wide is it? Can you read it? 1 centimetre. Good.
I think the advantage of it is you can use real-life 3D props. It's better than a projector because you can actually rotate it, move it around, you've got colour, high quality picture.
But doesn't a webcam do the same job?
A webcam does a similar job, but with the visualiser it did have its inbuilt lighting system, so you can light up what you're looking at and change the lighting on it.
And this is the bottom of our mouth, so I'm going to write that on this sheet.
I particularly like the fact that you could use it for a worksheet. It's there, it's ready to use for the things that you haven't had time to prepare or put onto a flip chart. But it's quite an expensive piece of equipment for what it is.
So your overall impression of this?
Overall, I found it really easy to use. I think it's a good piece of technology to show 3D images, particularly for children who are EAL or less able learners who need that visual support. It would be in addition to all the technology that I already use rather than essential.
Thank you, Faye. Well, from wisdom teeth to the wisdom of the studio, it must be Hermione.
Well, Dave, what I'm wondering is whether this is really just an expensive way of displaying something that perhaps might be better just passed around the class, as we saw in the film. I mean, for the pupils to get their hands on the leaves or the teeth would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, but in another way you could say that the children are actually getting their hands on it through their eyes. I've seen this in use in a Year 6 classroom where they're actually doing sewing as part of the design technology unit, and the teacher was able to show up close the sewing stitches, and the pupils' work and the impact on their sewing was absolutely fantastic.
Fiona, what do you think?
I think it looks like a very useful and versatile piece of equipment, and the size of it means that it's very portable, so it doesn't have to be in one place around the school. I think as a demonstration and modelling tool, it could be very, very useful. Like you were saying about the sewing, demonstrating fine art techniques, showing things in science like the leaves or insects or something like that. So I like it.
Do you think your school might invest in something like this?
Actually, yes. Having kind of looked into it, I think that if you had one, say, per school, and we're at one form-entry school, I think it's good value for money.
Okay. Ray, what are your thoughts?
I think it'll be compared to an interactive whiteboard, obviously. Most schools have those now and are used to that as a display technology. I think what's exciting about this is it actually brings the real world back into the classroom. So rather than having some kind of simulation of what leaf veins are like, as we've just seen, or how plants grow, I think you're physically looking at that in the classroom. And of course it does plug into an interactive whiteboard.
I've seen this in use in many schools now, and the thing is that even the least e-confident teachers are picking this up and running with it, plugging it into the wall and saying, this is something I can work with. I can start going with this now and actually get some impact in the classroom. That's why it's great.
OK, well, thank you all. Now it's time to move on to Dave's second choice of resource for us today, and it is the Promethen Activote handheld voting system. Now, Dave, again, explain this resource to us and why you like it.
OK, this voting system is actually linked in with Active Primary software. This enables us to actually set our own question sets for the children and assess where they're at. So what I'm going to do with you in a moment is actually going to get you to vote on an issue.
Okay.
So this might be used within PSCHE, for example. So I'm going to say to you,
yes, OK.
Here's my issue, is that are you in favour of school uniform? And I'm going to ask you to click either A, if you're in favour, F, if you're against, or somewhere in the middle if you're not quite sure. Press your buttons now. If I just click now on that, automatically I can see how you've answered.
Ooh.
So I can see who answered what.
Right,
Okay.
so we're all fairly much in favour of school uniform, but...
And I can see the answers there as a percentage as well.
OK, thanks, Dave. Well, let's now go back to Essex Primary School and to see whether Activote gets the thumbs up from Faye and her pupils.
Candy floss or potato? Let's have a look. Have a go yourself, it doesn't matter if you get the answer wrong. Oh, 88.5%, nearly the whole class knew that it was candy floss that was bad for your teeth because candy floss has got lots of sugar.
Faye, can you tell me how you've been using the Activote system?
In today's lesson, we used it at the beginning of the lesson as part of an assessment to assess what the children already knew about their teeth. Then towards the end of the lesson, speaking and listening, where they were talking about what teeth animals might have and why, and then voting on it.
Are they all flat? What animal might have canines? Talk to your partner.
Tiger, sharks.
At the very end, it was just a quick self-assessment, so I knew where the children stood and how they felt about the whole lesson.
Are you on a red light? I need some help on this, please. Are you in the middle? I know the names of the different teeth.
It's very inclusive, so it includes all the children in the class, whatever ability, and it lets them all have a voice. So even the shyer children that don't want to speak out loud get to have their say and their turn. The beginning setup, when you have to register them, takes 5-10 minutes to do, but once they're registered on the computer, that's it.
What is it you really like about this?
I like the instant feedback. I like the fact that you stand there, you can instantly see if a child understands something, if a child doesn't.
And if I asked you to summarise it, what would you say?
I've really enjoyed using Activote in the classroom. Overall, I find it really easy to use. It fits in with the government's agenda for assessment for learning. It gives all children a voice in the classroom. They love them. Whenever we get them out, they want to use them.
Thank you, Faye. Well, it's definitely got a good vote here. Let's see what the panel think.
Well, Dave, Activote seemed to go down well, but I thought it was interesting when the teacher said it gave her pupils a voice, because clearly it doesn't. They're just pressing a button. I mean, shouldn't they be talking, discussing, communicating their ideas?
I think you could see from the enthusiasm in the class there the sorts of activities the children were doing. And I think you could actually take this to be a paired discussion activity if you wanted to. So you could have a question up there and the children could decide between them and then vote that way. So I think it does encourage discussion.
It could generate discussion, certainly,
Absolutely.
I suppose. Well, coming to the panel, Fiona, what did you make of Activote?
I think it's a fantastic instant assessment tool. That, as you saw from the video as well, children absolutely love it. I did a times tables test very quickly with my class, And after we'd done it, they said, can we do that again this afternoon? Which I think is the first time I've ever heard them asking to do that.
Did you find it easy to set up though?
Very, very easy. I managed to create, using the software, create 10 multiple choice questions in under 5 minutes.
Right.
Very, very easy to use.
But do you think perhaps it's a bit of an expensive luxury though to have in your classroom?
It is very expensive, and it's something to think about closely as to whether it's an investment we want to make.
But if you've got the money, then you think
I
it's a
think
good
so,
one?
yes, as long as
Yeah.
everyone knows how to use it and it is being used and it's not sitting gathering
Yeah.
dust somewhere.
Okay, Ray, what did you make of it?
I think the most important thing from what has just been said really is that if you're going to use such a system, which is about assessment for learning, it's about the whole school's assessment policy really, and it's not an expensive investment if it's used by the whole school and if it's a complete part of what that school does. I mean, we saw on the video how teachers were using it to look at prior knowledge. I mean, that would be very difficult in the classroom. You know, how many kids do this? We give them a test, the teacher has to mark it, no more, or comes up on screen in 2 seconds. And then you've got the fun aspect, and at the end you can see exactly what's been learned, and you can see also what kids have not learned certain things without actually having to pinpoint them or point them out or to do all that necessarily marking. So I think it's a real time saver, but very much central to a school's development plan, school's philosophy.
Okay, now Dave, let's move on to your third choice of resource, and it's on the table here. What is it?
Well, Hermione, it's a talking tin.
A talking tin. Oh, well, there we are. What is a talking tin?
It's absolutely fantastic bit of equipment, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And children can actually record anything they'd like to onto this. So you could be asking them a question, they could record their answer onto this, you could place it on the display.
So, Dave, how does it actually work?
It's very simple, in fact, because all you need to do is press the 2 small buttons together,
Right.
record your message,
Hello, from Resource Review.
and then press the black button
Hello, from Resource Review.
to play it back.
And that's it.
Easy.
Well, panel, what do you make of the talking tin lids?
I think they're fantastic. As you said, they're really good value for money. You can use them for absolutely anything. There's a suggestion in the teacher's activity pack which comes with them that you can have a set which you record extracts of a story, and the children have to press them, listen to them and decide what order they go in. I love the idea of using them for displays, to make displays a lot more interactive. You could just go on and on and on with them, and they're so cheap. So,
Well, that's good.
great.
We like cheap resources. Ray, what are your thoughts?
It's kind of low-tech, high-tech, isn't it, really? I mean, I think...
is it ICT hardware?
Of course it is, of course it is, of course it is.
Well, it's got a
and
battery,
I
isn't it?
think they're really, really useful, because what they enabled schools and teachers to do is to respond to individual children. You can do lots of language work with them. Got a lot of different aspects to it.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. But just to recap, the 3 resources that we've looked at are the AVerVision SPC 300 visual presenter from AVerMedia Technologies UK Limited, Activote handheld voting system from Promethen, and Talking Tins from Talking Products Limited. For more information on all the resources featured today, go to our website. It's teachers.tv/resource review, or if you want to, email us, resourcereview@teachers.tv. A very big thank you to our panel, to Dave, to Fiona and to Ray. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Resource Review. Bye-bye.